This week, I wanted to challenge myself to create a slow feeder for my cat using some scrap felt pieces. I started out by measuring the base of her existing bowl and then cutting out the exact size into the felt piece. So since I didn't have a template that fit exactly the size, I just used my ruler to create a circle, and then I folded it multiple times to ensure that it was even on all sides so that it wasn't so much of an oval but an actual circle. Then I cut some strips of the felt to create a sort of standing rosette. And this idea came from one of the videos my mom had made on making a snuffle mat for cats. So I decided I wanted to try to do the same by weaving the strips so that they would create a sort of ruffle. And then what was going to be different, it was that I was trying to sew it up straight instead of to the side where it would just kind of lay flat and then things would be hidden under. I didn't want it to be so much hidden as I wanted it to be just a block from easily accessing all of the kibble all at once. So of course, because I was using scraps of felt or just the smaller felt instead of buying a bolt, I had to sew multiple pieces together, just attach them to each other and then start sewing them onto the actual main circle that I was working with. What proved to be the most challenging was trying to make the felt stay up, and the way that I ended up being able to sort of do this was by sewing from the back towards the front and then pushing my needle through some of those front stitches and then pushing it back and then pushing it towards the front, but like the front of the felt, grabbing a little bit of it, then pushing my needle through the back and kind of repeating this process. It was very organic. I don't think I quite got the effect I was going for, but in general, you kind of get the idea. If you have any tips on how to have made this actually stand up, let me know in the comments. I was just kind of winging it. We had a problem, wanted to solve it, and that's kind of the route that I took. A lot of the DIYs that we do in the channel are just things that come up through day-to-day life. It's just us trying to figure out how to solve some type of problem. So if you are interested in those types of videos, please be sure to subscribe, because Mom and we enjoy sharing our findings and kind of our crafting adventures. So back to the rosette I was trying to do. What ended up also being a challenge was the fact that I didn't know exactly where to put my strips. So kind of like midway through, I realized I should have drawn an actual spiral showing where I was going to sew. I think this would have saved me a lot of headaches, because by having that spiral marking, I was able to clearly know where I was supposed to like punch in my needle. It was such a big help on getting this done faster, because this was time consuming to kind of figure out how to do, but I couldn't find anything on Amazon that even resembled, and anything that I did was oversized for a cat. So I knew I had to kind of tackle this one. And in the end, I just did some basic knots and decided to add one more layer around the outside, because it just felt like it wasn't going to be enough to hide the kibble. And this ended up being the perfect call, because this is what helped this specific project kind of be more successful than the other attempt I made. Now the other attempt, I think it is better for slow feeding, so I'm going to be sharing that I think I just didn't do the measurements correctly, and that's where the downfall was. But I think going a little bit on the edge, because this is felt, so it kind of molds to the plate that you put it in, is something that you have to consider whenever you're sewing it. For the second option, I ended up just using the base of my other flower to create the base for this one. And the concept was really to make some little like almost sticks standing up, so it would kind of again keep all the kibble from being together, and the cat would essentially have to like move their nose around to try to get to the food. So I cut some strips of about 3/4 of an inch each. So I just made markings along the way and then cut them out, just gauging more or less where it used to be. And then I cut 2-inch strips, just one on top of the other, so that I could make my little rolls. Now the rolls themselves, they were good as far as kind of sticking together and being tight. I didn't want to use any glue or anything like that in making this, because it's going to be along with food, so I don't want my cat ingesting any chemicals. If I really wanted to, I could have probably just sewn all the way across and up from the roll, but for the purpose, I didn't think it was necessary. So after I finished sewing each of those rolls and placing them as I was making them, so I knew exactly when to stop, then at that point I started sewing and attaching each of them to that base. Now this part, the trickiest was on trying to keep all of the pins from falling as I was moving the base. So I would say maybe this could be an option if you have chalk. You can maybe put like dots of chalk where you want each roll to go to kind of mark the spot, and then you can hand wash this, so you can remove the chalk off, but then you still have the marking. But I do think that it will make this process a lot easier. After just patiently sewing one by one and knotting each of them, then I was able to kind of have that completed product. I decided to sew them one by one because I thought it would give it more strength. My cat, she can be a little forceful sometimes, so I was afraid that if I stitched them all together, it would cause the thread to become unmovable. Now, in the end, I couldn't use it for my cat for the original reason, because I didn't account for the curvature that I needed to do to the bowl. So we tried giving it to our crew, and as you can see, because this is so lightweight, the boys are really used to the puzzles, so they just immediately tried to move it. And even Minnie, who's way more gentle in her searching, she was still moving it. So I would say the ideal for this one would have been maybe if I had made another base and then added some of those pebbles that they sell for the plushies, so like they'll stand up, or those little beanie babies. You could always buy a beanie baby and just take out its guts, but one of those things that just give it some weight so it doesn't move around or shift as easily. Now, if you don't feel comfortable with the little beads, you can always also just put one of those velcros. You can sew a piece of velcro to this and then put a piece of velcro on the actual bowl, so then it kind of forces the piece to stay there. I won't be using this specifically for the cats. Like, we might use it just kind of like as a random brain challenge, but the only bowl that the rosette worked for us was in this one, which is a deeper bowl, which then they get the whisker fatigue. So not a good long-term solution. So definitely if you decide to make a slow feeder, I would just recommend you figure out how to attach it to the existing bowl, whether through a velcro or giving it some weight so it doesn't move. And of course, just kind of keep in mind what your cat might do to it. As you can see, the crew is used to using their beans, so they paw things a lot to kind of feel things out, whereas my old lady, she's not a bean user. She likes to keep her beans clean. So that might also help determine if you might go for something like the rosette or those little sticks that we made on the last project. And even though we couldn't solve the exact problem we're trying to solve for, I think I'm a lot closer. So there'll be a follow-up on this one. But thanks so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more affordable and pet-friendly DIYs.